As a nail professional, should you expect tips? Is that something that should be like in concrete and your clients should know to do it? We're going to talk about this right now on the Biz Talk. All right. This is
the worst introduction ever.
Worst intro ever.
First of all, you've never said anything about my shoes.
I haven't said anything on camera. I said it off camera. What you want, like?
I don't remember.
I need attention on camera. You need to say it on camera. Is that where we're at?
You say anything
is that the
about
point
my shoes?
We're at now? Is that
first of all, this is the first time I've worn them.
That is
when you're around here.
That is totally not. I've seen those shoes. I commented on them before. I said those are awesome.
I don't think you were here.
I was here.
I keep track. I'll check my book.
That's a little creepy, dude.
Shoe comments.
Shoe comments. Habib did not comment on. Oh my God, dude, you're weird. And it's awesome.
It's socks for you. So
it is.
Are we matching today?
Yeah, we are. They're just standard.
I like that people asked.
Did they?
Yeah. No, people commented. They're like, "Are you wearing two different types of socks?"
So my son is notorious for just wearing. He wears everything backwards on purpose.
I love it.
He wears everything inside out, and he mismatches socks on purpose. He like chaos, right? I love it, and I do the same thing. So like father, like son, chaos. Habib, chaos, Salo. You like it? It's my nickname. Okay.
I have other nicknames for you.
I know you do. And she calls me them out in the open. Okay.
Like boss, sir.
Yeah. Those are the top of the list. Okay. So tips. This is an awesome topic. It's a really good, this is a really good topic. It gets us into, this is kind of a Pandora's box, right? When we talk about, should I expect tips? Because you open this topic up and you're going to see it's going to roll us into like 5 other topics that are so important to your nail business. But this started, I'm just going to talk about the topic came up because Tracey saw a post about a hairstylist that was basically saying, you know, if you're coming to me, you better tip 20%. Or if you go to a hairstylist, right? You better tip 20%. And it got Tracey and I talking about this issue. We have our opinions, but Trace, let's just drop into this first and foremost. Is this something that nail professionals should absolutely expect their clients to know? When you sit in my chair, you should be tipping me X amount of dollars.
No.
Okay.
No.
We're done.
Yep.
That's the end of the show.
End of it.
It's finished. No.
No, I was telling you, I got so angry watching this girl, and I'm in the industry, and I tip. I tip well. I usually tip over 20% when I get my hair done. But first of all, the way she was saying it, if I was someone that went to her, I would not be going to her anymore. Was very just like condescending, like just I deserve this, and belittling people that tip under 20%.
Right.
And then she had to throw the nail techs in there.
Right.
Basically saying, we're not nail techs. Our services are expensive. I saw your pricing. I'm right up there with you. So just, first of all, there is never, whether you go to a restaurant or whatever, expectation of tip. It's, first of all, should be based on service.
Right.
I'm a true believer. Now, I always tip even when I get bad service at a restaurant, but
that's you.
That's me.
Yeah.
Does it affect my tip? Yes, it does. But if you know what that tells me right there, she has not priced her pricing right.
100,000%.
If you are demanding or expecting or relying on a tip for your income, then you have not priced your service correctly.
What it says, Trace, that's exactly what that means, because what she is ultimately saying is, I'm giving you a deal on my regular pricing, so you should make that up by tipping me at least 20%. That's insane.
Yeah, and then she's on top of it saying, my services are expensive. Like, I never say my services are expensive. I get paid what I'm worth.
Totally.
You know, so it's not expensive. It's what you should be getting if you've priced it correctly. But to say that and then demand a 20% tip, I was shocked. It was very shocking to me. I watched it for like 10 minutes getting mad.
Which is awesome because you rarely do that.
Yeah.
Like, but you got caught in that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
There's so many things to unpack here. Okay. Like, first of all, it does show, like, if you are totally dependent on tips, you need to look at your pricing. So as a nail professional right now, if you're like, every time you got somebody behind your chair and you're that feeling of like when you're calculating expenses and like, okay, I have to make this much and oh, and tips, and you're throwing that in there as like part of like what you need, that's a problem.
That's a problem.
You need to change your pricing.
It's not your customers. It's you. And if you are having to sit there and get online and talk about how your customers need to be tipping you 20%, the attitude that you're presenting in that post might be why you're not getting 20% tip.
Correct. It's very like, if I'm a customer, I'm going to be like, what? Like, I'm out. That's not okay.
Yeah, even if I was tipping 20%, I'd be like, that's just kind of, it just was what you can say things, you know, hey guys, you know, there's a lot, it's just the whole presentation was just terrible.
Yeah.
And off-putting. And I thought it's you know, there are hairdressers that don't even accept tips or nail techs because they don't want to have to figure it out when they do taxes and stuff like that. So they just say, they post no tips.
You know what? But it's a smart thing to do because you're going to make sure, if you're not dependent on tips, you're going to make sure your pricing is good.
Yeah.
And your pricing is locked in.
Yeah.
The biggest issue that we see in the industry, we talk about this all the time, and we're going to this is a subject that will never get old to talk about, is the topic of pricing your services correctly.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think there was a comment that came through recently where somebody was like, I haven't been charging for nail art, right? Just to kind of fold this into the topic. Somebody's not charging for nail art. How do I charge for nail art now?
Yeah.
And which is great. I'm glad you're thinking about it, but clearly your prices haven't been, correct for a few years.
And that might be someone that might get upset if someone doesn't tip them well because they've given away free stuff.
Art.
I think we've talked about that before, where we start getting mad at our customers for not paying for something we're not charging them for.
Right.
It's like, it's weird.
Well, it's kind of like, I'm going to do something nice for Tracey, like whatever today, and I do something nice for you.
Yeah.
But then I expect, well, I did something nice for her, so I'm going to ask her for this favor next week, and she better say yes because I was nice to her all week. And life doesn't work like that. You can't, like, it's this, I'm going to silently just give. I'm going to give with the intention of taking.
Of getting back.
Of getting back.
Yeah.
That doesn't work in business.
No.
It does not.
Yeah. And you cannot get upset if you're the one giving and you don't get back.
Correct.
So if you're giving away your art and you don't get back money, well, that's because you didn't charge for it.
You know what was really interesting? A friend of mine recently, this is so just fascinating. And it's right into this kind of topic of giving and pricing correctly and expecting tips and all this stuff. But I have a friend that's been going to a salon for 15 years. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the same one. Him and his wife go. Loyal manicures. His wife gets her nails done, manicure, all that stuff. Same one over and over again, paying, a particular price. Because of the pandemic, they had to switch. They went to another place. He walked into this other place and discovered that the service that he'd been getting for 15 years and what he'd been paying for it was nothing close to what is actually
Normal.
out there, what is normal. Yeah. But he was okay with it. He said he's paying more money now.
Yeah.
But the service that he's getting is like enormous and so big. So my whole point being, the reason why I'm bringing that up is he's paying more money.
Yeah.
Right?
He's okay.
But he's okay with it.
Yeah.
Which is to the point of if you're giving really good service to your clients and you're undercharging, if you then decide to charge correctly and price it correctly, and as long as you're taking care of your clients, they're gonna be okay with it. He told me, he's like, I'll never go back to their salon again. And he's paying more money now.
That's crazy.
I was like, this is exactly what Tracey and I have been talking about for years.
Yeah. And we just posted something about pricing and if you should charge more for tips or sculpting, do you charge the same? And the comments were very interesting on, people who are like, well, I would never charge that. And my work is very good. That's awesome. But what we're trying to educate and tell you is you can charge more.
You can.
So the people tend to get upset with us because we're saying you can get this. And every area is different.
Totally.
But they're even charging less than they should for their area. They're providing... So it's kind of opposite of what that guy was doing.
Yeah.
He wasn't getting the full package, the full service, but
Right.
people are providing a full package and a full service, charging way less than someone else. But here's the thing. Don't get mad at that person. Right. Get mad at yourself because that person's getting that money.
Right.
So it's a defense mechanism, I think. It's like, oh, I'm going to be upset at you. How dare you? You're being a thief to your clients and taking advantage of them. No. People are making their own decision, just like he's making that decision to go to a salon and pay more money.
Correct.
He's making that decision.
Correct.
So there's nothing wrong with charging more money. Problem is you're not charging the money.
Yeah, you've got to be able to feel the market out, right? You feel your market out. You should charge what is appropriate for your norm is and your service. But I think it's a sin to short side yourself.
Yeah.
That's not okay. What we're telling you is you're worth more. Don't depend on the tips. This is where this whole topic, that's why I'm saying it's Pandora's box. It opens up so many different things.
It's the cherry on top. Consider that. Your tips?
Yes.
It's the cherry on top. Like, oh, sweet. I made more than I even expected today. But
exactly.
Your expectation, when I was calculating what I would make for the day, it was never based on tip.
That's exactly right.
It was what the price of the services were.
That's how you should price it. Not depending when you're figuring out your revenue, you should not depend on tips or put that in. It should be, based on the service price. And in the end, we're on your side. We're trying to get you to make more money. We really are. We want you to have a better, just overall more financially stable. Yeah. If you're making more, we're not saying go rip people off and get rich doing it. And then, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, there is a certain point. I can't charge $3,000 for a set of nails.
Right.
Someone's not going to, I only need one.
You only need one.
One person.
One person.
But I can charge the high end of the area that I live in.
Yeah.
And you should be doing the same. So yes, you're right. Maybe you can't charge $90 for a full set. Maybe that's not your area, but do your research. Make sure you're on the higher end, that you are charging your worth.
Yeah. And you're again, we're not saying if you're a beginner and your nails are lifting and they're falling off that you should be charging $80, $90 a set. Like you've got to grow into that. That is something you grow into. Eventually, Tracey had been she had a full clientele, incredible service where she could charge these prices. That's what we want you to work into eventually.
And if you're not charging enough and you are dependent on those tips today, you're going to look at your pricing, and we have videos on how to raise your prices.
Totally.
How to do it respectfully. You don't just do it like that. But take a good look at yourself. And if you're like, oh man, I am dependent on my tips, let's raise those prices.
Let's raise those prices. Let us know in the comments below your take on this topic about tips. Should you depend on them? Should they be 20%? Should your clients know to pay them or not? Where you at on this subject? We'd love to hear about it. Tracey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Biz Talk.